First, though, as of course you would expect in many of the front pages this morning, images from yesterday's events marking the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. King Charles was seen getting emotional, you can see him there, at a ceremony in Poland, while the Princess of Wales and William attended a memorial service in London. ITV News UK editor Paul Brand is here alongside Jo Elvin. This was really interesting. You know, we've seen the Princess of Wales visit the cancer hospital where she was treated, and we saw her being very open about everything. She really was, and very, again, you know, that she's got this sort of skill of making people at their ease, and that was certainly demonstrated yesterday.
Absolutely. I think that Princess of Wales, Catherine, she's really matured as an absolute top-tier member of the royal family. Not, you know, she wasn't born into royalty, but now she looks born to it. And I think that it's very, very... All the compassion that she showed yesterday, sort of like the warmth and the hugging with some of these Holocaust survivors, the incredible people, it really was reminiscent of the compassion that we knew that Diana was so capable of showing.
That's true.
And that was sort of the thing that ushered in a new way of being for the royal family, I think. And I think that and Catherine's really carrying that on. And I think definitely coming into being the future queen, I think.
Oh, no, that's true. I thought it was quite remarkable, and you could see it meant such a lot to the sadly dwindling members, you know, people that have lived through that.
It was a really emotional reunion, wasn't it? She actually photographed two of the attendees yesterday for a photographic exhibition from the 75th anniversary.
Yeah.
And she met up yesterday with Yvonne and Stephen from that shoot. And she was all sort of like hugs and so much warmth between Catherine and Yvonne.
It brings the humanity into the whole thing, doesn't it, Paul? It really does, because sometimes when you read about the number, you know, you see 6 million Jewish people who were massacred. It's too big in a way, you know, but this brings it very close. And they were also saying they're going to tell their children about this as well.
Yeah.
Make sure they know, because we mustn't ever forget. Yeah,
they said that Prince George especially is at the age now where he's starting to understand. He's probably learning about it in school, isn't he? And also I thought what was extraordinary yesterday was that commemoration in Auschwitz.
Oh,
so this, you know, these pictures are from the UK, aren't they? But there was the extraordinary commemoration as well in Auschwitz that
so
the King
dignified,
attended.
so dignified.
I watched the whole thing, actually, and I just found it so utterly moving. You can tell that the King did too. He was pictured, as we were saying earlier, wiping away tears, and it was just extraordinary to hear from the survivors. There, as you say, 6 million Jews were killed, but actually just a very small handful left now who actually were in Auschwitz. And hearing some of their stories, they were really the stars of the show, actually, rather
They were, and what struck me was their forgiveness and their humanity and the way that they just want peace.
And also...
they don't want more hate on top of hate.
No.
And what really struck me was, you know, when I learnt about the Holocaust in school decades ago, it felt like this really remote era in history that surely could never happen again. I mean, you know, there's always the risk that something like that could happen again, but it felt like a really low risk that anyone would be quite so evil again. And yet, here we are in 2025, and we see hatred returning, don't we, into our politics, into our world events. And it doesn't, sadly, feel impossible that something really awful could happen again.
Terrifying, absolutely terrifying. But like we said, never forget, and the respect that we have for these incredible survivors is enormous, enormous.
Absolutely.
Now, also in the news today, Alec Baldwin. Now, he's making a return after, we all remember that movie that was shooting Rust, and there was a tragedy, the shooting tragedy. But the trailer, he's got this new family reality show. I wonder what you think about this. Have a wee look at the trailer. Oh, this makes me extremely uncomfortable. I don't know what you guys think.
I really do feel for Alec Baldwin in a way. It's like it's a really unfortunately horrible thing for anyone to find themselves in accidentally.
Of course.
But a cynic like myself might question, if that hadn't happened, would there have been any interest for the Baldwins in making this documentary?
No.
It's even used to sell the documentary in the trailer, and I just find that rather crass, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I think he's sort of trying to have his own movie story, isn't he, of redemption and reviving his career. And I think, as you said, Lorraine, to us earlier, too soon, maybe?
I think it is, and I just think it's inappropriate as well.
Do you think we, as a species, could decide not to make this documentary series a success? Is that within the gift of the human race?
People will watch it. Of course they'll watch it, because there's all the backstory that's going on. There was all that craziness about, like, his wife called Hilary, her name, she called herself Hilaria. She pretended to be Spanish, apparently. it's just all, it's so weird that we probably, sadly, it will find an audience. It will definitely find an audience.
I thought that before this, I would have thought that Alec Baldwin styled himself as a serious actor who didn't want that sort of that Kardashian tinge.
Yeah.
But here we are.
I know, and he did do Saturday Night Live. He used to take off Trump on Saturday Night Live. He did all of that. He was in comedies as well.
I guess from his point of view, just trying to get myself into his head and understand why he'd want to make this programme for a minute. The court case collapsed. You know, he never went to trial.
No, indeed.
He's probably thinking what he did, as awful as it wasn't his fault, and he wants to revive his career. He feels like he's got unfinished business in terms of being an actor, and he wants to get back on the job.
Oh, it's bizarre. You couldn't make it up. You really couldn't. Yeah, it's astonishing. Look, what about this? A new study has revealed that women don't actually prefer an older man. We want younger ones, apparently. I just don't have the energy.
You know what? And in other news, today is Tuesday. I mean, seriously. Is that actually a surprise to anybody that everybody likes looking at a younger tortoise face? Is that a surprise?
Apparently, older women like younger men. I just don't get that. What do you think?
It's because I don't know why you're looking at me for a start, but
We're looking at you with renewed interest, Paul.
No, I'm certainly not an expert in this area of whether women like younger men. But the myth, of course, is that women tend to go for older men, and so that's what the point of the study was: is there any truth in that?
Sure.
They surveyed something like 4,500 men and women. They sent them on dates, on blind dates, and they tried to gauge, were women attracted to younger men?
Right.
Turns out they are, just as men are attracted to younger women. As Jo says, any surprise in the fact that youth is attractive?
For sure.
Possibly not. The one thing I think is really interesting about the study, though, is they didn't actually go through and see whether any turned into lasting relationships.
Right.
So it's,
I have to say, I mean, I'm not qualified. It's my 25th wedding anniversary tomorrow. But my older friends, my friends my age who are divorced or single, younger men are very attracted to older women. That's what they're finding in all the dating apps.
Really? So they can teach them a thing or two?
It's great,
Is that
Nicole
what it's
Kidman
about?
in Baby Girl News for everybody out there.
No, it's that thing. If they wouldn't know who the Smiths were or the Cure or, the Clash, and they wouldn't know the songs you liked, and then you'd mention something and they wouldn't know and you'd have to explain. Now, look, this is actually very, very serious, this. I wonder if any of you have ever actually come across, in the wild, if you're lucky, they're actually very quiet and shy wee creatures. But have you ever seen a haggis in real life?
Not in my lifetime.
And maybe in a field or something. Well, there they are, look. That's wee haggis, that's wee beasties. And they make maybe you won't see them, but you might hear them. They make a funny wee sound. Kind of like that.
like a party popper.
I may or may not be talking rubbish.
I wish this was true.
So do I. So do I. But somebody's having a lot of fun telling us that haggis are real.
I know. It's actually quite convincing as well. It's slightly terrifying how good AI is now. Until they got to the bit about the iron brew haggis, at which point I was like, right, okay, surely by now people know that this is a fake.
But I wish it... Look how cute it is.
I know.
It should be real. It should be real.
It's all narrated by David Attenborough as well. I mean, it's a joke. It's not intended to deliberately be an awful, deep fake or anything. But
apparently a lot of Americans have fallen for it.
Yeah, well...
But if they look like that, you wouldn't eat them. Let's be honest.
And they're not allowed to eat them anyway in America. It's been banned since 1971, haggis. Yeah, because it's got sheep's lungs in it.
Why did nobody phone me up and
You're not allowed to
tell
have
me?
any products with lungs in it in America.
Behave.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. So make sure you never spend Burns night in America.
I certainly will not. Thank you both very
you.
much. Always a joy. Well, that's a wrap for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We have all the best moments from the show right here on the channel. And if you like this video, then we think you'll love this one. See you next time.